Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss CBSE new pattern term 1 math objective type test paper from first three chapters. This 40 marks question paper contains multiple choice questions, assertion and reasoning questions and case study based questions. Please watch the video. We will see the board eye view of this question paper. First, we are going to discuss the multiple choice questions, followed by assertion reasoning questions from first three chapters, and lastly, we will discuss case study based questions from real numbers, polynomials, and pair of linear equations in two variables. Let us start the question paper. We'll quickly recollect the concepts of pair of linear equations in two variables. If a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, the lines are intersecting lines and it has one solution. The technical name for one solution is unique. This word is important and you have to be familiar with this word. If a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is also equal to c1 by c2, then lines are coincident lines. It has infinite number of solution. Coincident lines means overlap on each other and it has every part in that overlapping lines are solutions. So it has infinite number of solutions. If a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 but not equal to c1 by c2, the lines are parallel lines. It has no solution. As lines won't intersect each other, it has no solution. Intersecting lines and coincident lines together we call it as consistent equations. Why consistent equations? Because they have solutions. And parallel lines we call it as inconsistent equations. Coincident lines are also called dependent equations. First question. Graphically, the pair of equations 7x minus y is equal to 5, 21x minus 3y is equal to 10 represent two lines which are intersecting, parallel, coincident, none of the above. To find the type of lines, we have to compare the ratios of their quotient. The ratios of the quotients are a1 by a2, b1 by b2, c1 by c2. a1 by a2 is nothing but quotient of x for first equation and second equation. a1 is 7 by 21. b1 by b2 is minus 1 by minus 3 and c1 by c2 is equal to 5 by 10. And we are going to convert this into the least form. 7 by 21 is nothing but 1 by 3. Minus 1 by minus 3 is nothing but 1 by 3 itself. 5 by 10 is 1 by 2. 5 times 1, 5 times 2. So clearly here a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, but it is not equal to c1 by c2. These are the condition for parallel line, and we know for parallel line it has no solution. So the correct option for this question is B, parallel line. Second question, for what value of k is the given pair of linear equations have infinitely many solution? 2x plus 4y is equal to 3 and 6x plus ky is equal to 9. This is one of the important expected question in board exam to find the value of k. As the lines have infinite many solution, they are coincident lines. So what is the condition of coincident line, students? Just now we have discussed it is a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is also equal to c1 by c2, and we are going to compare only the first two ratios because k is the y quotient. So a1 by a2 is 2 by 6 and b1 by b2 is 4 by k. So when we compare the two ratios, we have to do the cross multiplication. 2 times k is equal to 2k and 6 times 4 is 24. 2k is equal to 24, k will become 24 by 2 which is nothing but 12. So correct option for this question is 12A. Third question, the linear equations 2x minus 3y is equal to 7 and 3x plus 2y is equal to 5 are consistent pair, dependent pair, inconsistent pair, straight pair. Consistent pair means the lines will be either coincident lines or intersecting lines. Dependent means only coincident. Inconsistent means parallel. Straight pair, it is a relevant option. So to find the type of equations, we are going to compare their ratios. So this is the standard rule whenever to find the types of lines or number of solutions or type of equations, we have to compare the ratio, students. a1 by a2, b1 by b2 and c1 by c2. Here a1 by a2 is nothing but 2 by 3. a1 is x coefficient of first equation 2, a2 is x quotient of second equation, which is 3. So 2 by 3. b1 by b2 is minus 3 by 2, and c1 by c2 is 7 by 5. After comparing the ratios, clearly we see that a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. If a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, they are intersecting lines. If the lines are intersecting, they are consistent pair. So lines are intersecting, they are consistent pair. Correct option for this third answer is A, consistent pair. Fourth question. The graph of the equation 2x plus 3y is equal to 5 is a vertical line, straight line, horizontal line, none of these. Any linear equation in graph is a straight line. So correct option for fourth question is B. Fifth question, a pair of linear equation among the following which has infinitely many solution is. They have given four options. We are going to find the correct option among these four pair of linear equations. As lines have infinitely many solution, they are coincident lines, and the condition is a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2. Now we are going to check each and every option whether they are satisfying the given condition or not. We'll start with option A. a1 by a2 is 2 by 2, b1 by b2 is minus 3 by 3, c1 by c2 is 6 by 6. Clearly a1 by a2 and b1 by b2 are not equal. If they are not equal, they are not coincident lines. So option A is not correct answer. Now we'll check the option B. Option B is a1 by a2 is 3 by 3, b1 by b2 is minus 4 by minus 4, and c1 by c2 is minus 6 by 6. So here a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, but it is not equal to c1 by c2. So B option is also not correct. We'll check with C option. a1 by a2 is 1 by 1, b1 by b2 is minus 1 by minus 1, and c1 by c2 is 10 by 10. So 1 by 1, negative negative cancel, 1 by 1, 10 by 10 in the simplest form is 1 by 1. Clearly all the comparison of their ratios are equal. Therefore option C is the correct answer. We'll move to the sixth question. The pair of the equation 3x minus 5y is equal to 7 and minus 6x plus 10y is equal to 7 have which solution? Unique solution or infinitely many solutions? No solutions, two solution. To find the number of solutions, we are going to compare the ratios of the quotients of these two linear equations. So we will start with a1 by a2, b1 by b2, and c1 by c2. So what is a1 by a2 students? A1 is 3 and a2 is minus 6. So 3 by minus 6, b1 by b2 is minus 5 by 10. I'm writing b1 by b2 as minus 5 by 10, and c1 by c2 is 7 by 7. 7 by 7. 3 by minus 6 is minus 1 by 2. Minus 5 by 10 is also equal to minus 1 by 2. But 7 by 7 is 1. A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2 but not equal to C1 by C2. So this is the condition for parallel line, and parallel line have no solution. So correct option for sixth question is C. The question, one equation of pair of dependent linear equations is 2x plus 5y is equal to 3. The second equation will be, to find the correct option among these four, we have to find the coincident line condition, because dependent linear equations and coincident lines are one and same. So 2x plus 5y is equal to 3. The other set of or pair of linear equation will be C, because option C alone will satisfying the condition a1 by a2, b1 by b2, and c1 by c2. So this C is satisfying the condition. Therefore correct option for seventh question is C. Discuss formulas in polynomial chapter. Sum of zeros is minus b by a, where b is quotient of x and a is quotient of x square. Product of zeros is given by the formula c by a, where c is constant and a is quotient of x square. Next formula is x square minus sum of zeros into x plus product of zeros, or x square minus x sum of zeros plus product of zeros, x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha beta. These all are one and same formulas. We are going to apply this formula to find the quadratic polynomial. We'll discuss the question from polynomials. Eighth question. A quadratic polynomial whose zeros are minus 4 and minus 5 is. You know the standard form of the quadratic polynomial, which is ax square plus bx plus c. To derive the question into the standard form of a quadratic polynomial, we have to use the formula. The formula is x square minus x into sum of zeros plus product of zeros. I'm going to apply these zeros in the formula. X square minus x, sum of zeros is minus 4 and minus 5. I'm adding the zeros. Product means multiplication. I'm multiplying the zeros. Two zeros are minus 4 and minus 5. So x square minus x, minus 4 minus 5 is minus 9, plus minus 4 into minus 5 is plus 20. So the polynomial will become x square minus into minus is plus 9x plus 20. So correct option for eighth question is B, x square plus 9x plus 20. Ninth question, quadratic polynomial whose sum and product of zeros are respectively minus 4 and minus 5 is. If you see the both 8th and ninth question, they are almost same. You have to find quadratic polynomial in both the question, but only difference is in 8th question they have given zeros, in ninth question they have given sum and product. Respectively means sum is minus 4 and product is minus 5. So if we will apply the same formula, the formula is x square minus x into sum of zeros plus product. So x square minus x into sum. Sum in the question is given as minus 4. So here no need to add. Sum directly they have given minus 4. Just need to apply the sum value as minus 4 in the formula. Product is minus 5. So no need of multiplying because product value is given directly given in the question. So simple calculations, minus into minus is plus 4x, plus into minus is minus 5. So the quadratic polynomial is x square plus 4x minus 5. So correct option for this question is D. 10th question, if one of the zero of the quadratic polynomial x square plus 3x plus k is 2, then find the value of k. Four options are given. So quadratic polynomial is given as x square plus 3x plus k. To find the value of k, we have to replace this 2 in x. So I'm replacing 2 in the place of x. So 2 square plus 3 times 2 plus k is equal to 0. Why I am equating with equal to 0? Because 2 is the 0 of the polynomial. So 2 square value is 4. 3 times 2 is 6 plus k is equal to 0. So 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 plus k is equal to 0. K value is minus 10. So B minus 10 is the correct option for 10th question. 11th question, the zero of the quadratic polynomial x square minus 15x plus 50 are. Four options are given. So to find the zeros, we have to use the factorization method. So I am taking the quadratic polynomial as it is. To use this factorization, we have to split the middle term. So we have to take the factors for 50 in such a way, if you multiply the factors, it should be plus 50. If you add or subtract, it should be minus 15. So the two factors are minus 10 and minus 5. Minus 10 minus 5 is plus 50. Minus 10 minus 5 is minus 15. So we'll continue. So x square minus 15x can be written as now minus 10x minus 5x plus 50. So first two terms I will take x common, x minus 10, and second two terms I will take minus 5 common, it will be x minus 10. So I will equate with 0 because in the question they are asking to find the zeros. In both cases x minus 10 is common. So if I take x minus 10 as common, the other factor will become x minus 5. So separately I will equate x minus 10 with 0 and x minus 5 with 0. So x is equal to 10 and x is equal to 5. Here both 10 and 5 are positive. So correct option for this question is C. Both are positive. Moving on to the 12th question. The graph of the polynomial ax square plus bx plus c is a downward parabola if a greater than 0, a less than 0, a is equal to 0, a is equal to 1. For downward parabola in the graph, a should be negative. So correct option for 12th question is B, a less than 0. If the question is upward parabola, then a is greater than 0. 13th question, sum of zeros of x square minus 4x plus 2 is a2, b minus 2, c4, d minus 4. We know the sum of zeros formula. Sum of zeros is minus b by a. So where b is quotient of x and a is quotient of x square. In this problem, b is minus 4 minus of minus 4 plus a is 1. So negative of negative is 4 by 1, which is nothing but 4. So correct option for 13th question is C. We'll move on to the 14th question. The product of zeros of x square minus 9x minus 2 is. You know the product of zeros formula. Product of zero formula is C by A, where C is constant and A is quotient of x square. So C in this problem is minus 2 and A is 1. So minus 2 by 1 is minus 2. Correct option for 14th question is minus 2B. 15th question. The product of a non-zero rational number and irrational number is always a irrational number. For example, 2 is a rational number and root 3 is a irrational number. Product 2 and root 3 is 2 root 3, which is a irrational number. So correct option 15th question is C. For example, if non-zero is not given in the question, the product of rational and irrational is, answer is rational itself. You might be wondering how. So if I take a rational number as 0, 0 is a rational number, everybody knows that. Product means multiplication. Irrational number is root 3. 0 into root 3 is a 0, where 0 is a rational number. So product of rational and irrational is rational, but product of non-zero rational and irrational is irrational. Please make a note of this, students. Rational, 0 is a rational number. Product of rational and irrational is rational. Product of non-zero rational number and irrational number is irrational. Moving on to the 16th question. 2.35 bar is what? It is a rational number. In the ninth class, we discussed this bar can be expressed in the form of x by y or p by q. Once the number expressed in p by q, it is a rational number. Correct option for 16th question is B. 17th question. The decimal representation 23 by 2 power of 5 into 5 power of 2 will terminate after how many decimal places? Four options are given. So definitely it will terminate because denominator is in the form of 2 power of m into 5 power of n. But the question is after how many decimal places? Without doing this process, I will say this fraction will terminate after 5 decimal places. Reason is the power of 2 is 5. The highest power of 2 is 5. So it will end after 5 decimal places. We'll see the procedure. 23 by 2 power of 5 into 5 power of 2. To make the powers equal, I have to multiply both numerator and denominator with 5 power of 3. 5 power of 2 to convert to same degree 5 power of 5, I have to multiply numerator and denominator with 5 power of 3. So 23 into 5 power of 3 is 125 divided by 2 power of 5 into 5 power of 5. So 2 power of 5 and 5 power of 5 can be written as 10 power of 5. 23 into 125 is nothing but 2875 by 10 power of 5 is 1 lakh. So 2875 by 1 lakh can be represented as 0.02875. So this fraction will terminate after 5 decimal places. So correct option for 17th question is D. 18th question. If HCF of 26 169 is 13, then LCM of 26 and 169 is how much? You know the relation between LCM and HCF of two numbers? The formula is LCM into HCF is equal to A into B, and where A and B are the product of the numbers. In the given question, we don't know the LCM, we have to find the LCM. So I am writing LCM as it is, and HCF is given as 13. So I am replacing 13 in the place of HCF, and the product of the two numbers are 26 and 169. So LCM into 13 is equal to 4394, and LCM will become 4394 divided by 13. So 4394 divided by 13 is nothing but 338. So correct option for this 18th question is C, 338. 18th question. If two positive integers m and n are expressible in the form m is equal to pq cube and n is equal to p cube q square, where p q are prime numbers, then HCF of m and n is. So four options are given. To find the HCF, we have to take the factors of m. M is equal to p into q cube, can be written as q into q into q, and n is expressed as p cube q square. I'm writing n is equal to as a factors p into p into p into q into q. Q square can be expressed as q into q. P cube can be expressed as p into p into p. Now we have to find the HCF of m and n. So to find the HCF, we have to take the common factors of both m and n. The HCF of m and n will be p into q, which is nothing but p into q square. So correct option for this question is B, p into q square. Next concept is assertion and reasoning questions. This type of reasoning question consists of two statements, assertion and reason. Assertion means statement of fact, whereas reason is explanation about particular statement. We have to determine whether each statement is correct or not. If both statements are correct, we have to determine whether reason supports assertion. We will see the directions for assertion and reasoning questions. In the following questions, a statement of assertion which is denoted with A is followed by a reason denoted with R. So first they will give assertion followed by reason. These are the four options which are common for every assertion and reasoning questions. First option is both assertion A and reason R will be true, and reason R is the correct explanation for assertion A. Second option B, both assertion A and reason R are true, but reason R is not correct explanation of assertion A. C option, assertion A is true, but reason R is false. The last option is D, assertion is false and reason is true. First question in assertion and reasoning, 20th. Assertion. The number of solution for the system of linear equation 5x plus 4y plus 6 is equal to 0 and 10x plus 8y is equal to 10 is 0. So this is the assertion statement, and this statement is true because these lines both are parallel. We know the parallel line condition, a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, but it is not equal to c1 by c2. Why I am saying this is true statement, because these both lines are parallel. 5 by 10 is 1 by 2, a1 by a2 is 1 by 2. 4 by 8 is also 1 by 2, which is b1 by b2, but is not equal to c1 by c2, which is minus 6 by 10. So clearly these lines are parallel, and number of solution for parallel lines is 0. So assertion statement is true. Now we will see reason. The system of linear equation a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 is also 0 as unique solution if a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. Yes, unique solution means intersecting lines. Intersecting lines condition is a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. Therefore, reason is also true. Both assertion is true, reason is true. But reason is not the correct explanation of assertion, because assertion is explaining about parallel lines, whereas reason is explaining about the intersecting lines. Though the both are true statements, but R is not the correct explanation of assertion. So option B is the correct answer for 20th question. 21st question, assertion. If the pair of lines are coincident, then we say that pair of lines is consistent and it has unique solution. For coincident lines, we have infinite number of solution, but in the assertion they have given unique solution. So assertion is false statement. We'll see the reason. The pair of lines are parallel, then pair has no solution, and they are called inconsistent lines. Reason is true because for pair of lines there will be not be any solution, and pair of lines we call it as inconsistent equation. So assertion is false and reason is true. So D is the correct option for 21st question. Assertion is false and reason is true. 22nd question, assertion. A quadratic polynomial, sum of whose zeros is 8 and the product is 12 is x square minus 20x plus 96. We know the quadratic polynomial formula x square minus x into sum of zeros plus product. In the question they have given directly sum and product. Sum is 8 and product is 12. So x square minus x into 8 plus product is 12. Don't add, because question in the question they have not given zeros. They have given sum and product. So x square minus 8x plus 12. Whereas in the assertion the quadratic polynomial is given as x square minus 20x plus 96. Therefore assertion is false statement. We'll see the reason now. If alpha and beta be the zeros of the polynomial, then polynomial is given by x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha beta. X square minus x into sum of roots plus product of roots, where alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial. So reason is true statement. So correct option D. Assertion is false and reason is true. 23rd question. Assertion x square plus 7x plus 12 has no zeros. Reason, a quadratic polynomial can have at most two zeros. We'll see assertion first. X square plus 7x plus 12 has no zeros is a false statement, because if you do the factorization for x square plus 7x plus 12, we have two zeros, minus 4 and minus 3. But here in the assertion there are no zeros, so assertion is a false statement. Reason, a quadratic polynomial can have at most two zeros. It is a true statement. Quadratic polynomial maximum we have two zeros. Sometimes quadratic polynomial may have one zero or no zeros, but at most is the important word one has to make a note of it, student. If there is no at most, this statement is false. So quadratic polynomial will have maximum two zeros, but minimum no zero or one zero. So correct option for this question is D. Assertion is false and reason is true. 24th question, assertion. The HCF of two numbers is 18 and the product is 3072. Then their LCM is 169. To find whether assertion is true or false, we have to use the formula. Formula for HCM and LCF of two numbers is HCF into LCM is product of two numbers is equal to product of two numbers. The two numbers may be X or Y or A into B. The question HCF is given as 18 and LCM is given as 169. So 18 into 169 is 3042 and the product in the question is 3072. Clearly 3042 and 3072 is not equal. Therefore assertion is false statement. Reason, if A and B are two positive integers, then HCF into LCM is A into B. This is the basic standard formula and reason is true. Assertion is false, reason is true. Therefore D is the correct option. 25th question, assertion. 2 is a rational number. We all know that 2 can be expressed as P by Q. So it is a rational number. Assertion is a true statement. Reason, the square root of all positive integers are irrational number. It is a false statement because if I take the square root of positive integer, for example 4, square root of 4 is plus or minus 2, which is a rational number. But the statement for reason is the square root of all positive integers are irrational, which is a false statement. So assertion is true and reason is false. So option C is the correct answer for 25th question. 26th to 30th question are case study based questions and each question carries 1 mark. These are the questions from polynomial. Observe the following graph and answer. Before answering the questions, we'll see what is the zeros of the polynomial in the graph. Zeros of the polynomial are nothing but the x coordinates of the points where this curve or sometimes parabola or straight line intersect at x axis. In this question, this is a curve intersecting the x axis at 3 points, namely -3, -1 and 2. Therefore, these 3 points are the zeros of the polynomial. As they are intersecting at 3 points, it is cubic polynomial. 26th question. In the above graph, how many zeros are there for the polynomial? This curve is meeting the x-axis at 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Therefore, number of zeros are 3. Correct option for 26th question is D, 3. We'll see 27th question. The three zeros in the above shown graph are the curve is meeting the x-axis at -3, -1 and 2. Therefore, correct option for 27th question is C, -3, -1 and 2. 28th question, what will be the expression of the polynomial? So we have to find which is the correct cubic polynomial which satisfying the points -3, -1 and 2. So correct option for this question is A, because A itself is satisfying -3, -1 and 2. If we replace -3 in A and -1 in the cubic polynomial and 2 in cubic polynomial, the result is 0. So correct option for 28th question is A. 29th question, in general, a polynomial p of x of degree n crosses the x-axis at how many points? The correct answer is n, because in cubic polynomial, at most points it intersect x-axis will be 3. For quadratic polynomial, it will be 2, and linear polynomial, it will be 1. So the degree of n crosses the x-axis at most n points. So correct option is A. 30th question. Graph of a quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus c is a parabola open upwards if a is 0, a greater than 0, a less than 0, none of the above. Correct option is a greater than 0. If a is greater than 0, the parabola looks upward, and a is less than 0, the parabola looks downwards. So correct option for 30th question is B. 31 to 35 is case study based questions from the chapter pair of linear equations in two variables. Mahi is planning to buy a house and the layout is given below. This is the layout. The design and the measurement has been such that the area of two bedrooms and kitchen is together 95 square meters. So this is the layout. We are going to form the pair of linear equations. That is the 31st question. To form the pair of linear equations, we have to take the conditions given in the question. So what is the area of bedroom, students? So area of bedroom is equal to length into breadth. Here length is given as x and breadth is given as 5. So 5 into x is the area of bedroom. So there are two bedrooms in this layout. So area of two bedrooms is equal to 10x. Area of one bedroom is 5x. Area of two bedrooms is 10x. 5x plus 5x is 10x. Now we will find the area of kitchen also. So area of kitchen is breadth is 5 and length is y. So area of kitchen is equal to 5 into y. Area of kitchen is 5 times y. Based on the condition in the question, I will write 10x plus 5y is equal to 95. The reason why I wrote like this is the condition in the question is area of two bedrooms 10x and kitchen 5y is 95 square meters is equal to 95 square meters. I will take it as first equation. The length in the question is given as 15 centimeters and the other side of the length is given as x to y. So I will write as x plus 2 plus y is equal to 15, because in rectangle opposite sides are equal. X plus 2 plus y should be equal to 15. So x plus y is equal to 15 minus 2, which is nothing but 13. So this is the second equation. We'll write the simplified form of first equation, which is nothing but 2x plus 1y is equal to 19. So the two pair of linear equations are 2x plus y is equal to 19 and x plus y is equal to 13. So for 31st question, option A is the correct answer. Moving on to the 32nd question, find the length of the outer boundary of the layout. Outer boundary of the layout is nothing but the perimeter of rectangle. We know the perimeter of rectangle formula 2 into L plus B, where length in this question is, in the layout is, length is 15 and breadth is 5 plus 2 plus 5 is 12. So 15 plus 12 is nothing but 27. 27 times 2 is 54. So perimeter of rectangle or length of the outer boundary of the layout is 54 meters. 33rd question, find the area of the bedroom in the layout. So to find the area of the bedroom, we have to find the x value. Why to find the x value? Because we have assumed area of bedroom as 5x. To find the x, we have to solve the pair of linear equation 2x plus y is equal to 19 and x plus y is equal to 13. There are three ways to find the pair of linear equation solving. So one is graphical method, other is elimination method, and last is substitution method. I'm going to use the elimination method. I'm going to eliminate y in this. So I will subtract. Plus x will become minus x, plus y will become minus y, and plus 13 will become minus 13. So plus y and minus 1 get cancelled. 2x minus x is x. 19 minus 13 is 6. So as we got x, I'm going to substitute this x either in first equation or second equation. I'm going to replace in the first equation, second equation. So second equation is x plus y is equal to 13. So x is 6, 6 plus y is equal to 13. The value of y is equal to 13 minus 6, which is nothing but 7. We got the value of x as 6 and y as 7. Now it is easy to find the area of bedroom. Bedroom is 5x, so x is 6, 5 times 6 is 30. Therefore, area of bedroom is 30 meter square. So for 33rd question, option A is the correct answer. 34th question, find the area of the kitchen in the layout. So we have assumed area of kitchen as 5y. Area of kitchen we have taken as 5y, and we got y as 7. So 5 times 7 is 35. So area of kitchen is 35 meter square. Correct option for 34th question is A. 35th question, find the area of living room in the layout. So we'll take only the green part as a living room, and we have to find the area of the green part minus area of this second bedroom gives you the area of the living room. Area of living room is 15 times 7. 15 times 5 plus 2 is 7. There is a green part, which is nothing but 105 minus 30. 30 is area of bedroom. So 10 minus 30 is 75 square meters. So correct option for 35th question is B, 75 meters square. 36 to 40 is case study based question from real numbers chapter. On 71st Republic Day parade, Captain is planning for parade of following two groups. First group of army troops of 624 members behind an army band of 32 members. So B is second group of CRPF troops with 468 soldiers behind the 228 members of bikers. These two groups are to march in the same form of columns. The sequence of soldiers is followed by different states which are showed the culture of the respective states. So 36th question, what is the maximum number of columns in which the army troops can march? To find the maximum number of army troops, we have to do the HCF of 624 and 32. The HCF of 624 and 32 is 16. We know the procedure. We have to take the prime factorization of 624 and 32, and we have to take the common to both numbers, and HCF of 624 and 32 is 16. Correct option for 36th question is B, 16. 37th question, what is the maximum number of columns in which the CRPF troop can march? To find the maximum number of CRPF troops, we have to take the HCF of 468 and 228. The HCF of 468 and 228 is 12. Correct option for 37th question is C. 38th question, what is the maximum number of columns in which the total army troop and CRPF troop together can march? So we got the maximum number of columns for army troops as 16 and CRPF troop as 12. So we have to take the HCF of 16 and 12. HCF of 16 and 12 is 4. So we will do how to find the HCF of 16 and 12 by division method. So 12 ones are 12, remainder is 4. Now 4 become the divisor, and we'll take this 12 divisor as dividend. 4 threes are 12. So when we divide 12 with 4, the remainder is 0. Therefore, HCF of 12 and 16 is 4. So correct option for 38th question is 4. 10th question, what should be subtracted with the number of CRPF soldiers and the number of bikers so that their maximum number of columns is equal to the maximum number of columns of army troops? Maximum number of columns of army troops is 16, but 228 and 468 is not divisible by 16. If we subtract 4 from 228 and 468, that is 224 and 464, these both are divisible by 16. Therefore, A is correct option. Last question of the model paper, 40th question. What should be added with the number of CRPF soldiers and the number of bikers so that the maximum number of columns is equal to the maximum number of columns of army troops? To do this problem, to find the maximum number of columns of army troops is 16. We know that. But 228 and 468 are not divisible by 16. So we have to add 12 to 228 and 468 to become 240 and 480. So 240 and 480 HCF is 16. Therefore, B is the correct option. So 12 soldiers and 12 bikers are to be added.